Honored to have Mayor Harry Williams from Hardeeville with us on Welcome to Our Community today. Mayor Williams, thanks for making the time for us.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm always happy to talk about Hardeeville.
Exactly, and so are we, because Hardeeville, as we know, is a pretty hot city over the last 2 decades, I think it's fair to say, and only going to continue to grow. We talk about it all the time. I know you and I have done countless stories, but love that we get an extended opportunity here on Welcome to Our Community today to really get into this. So I want to know, we can start pretty general, what you're most excited about as the mayor of Hardeeville about this city.
The most exciting thing definitely is the arrival of new jobs. And one of the big announcements that we had was last month when the governor came down to announce the arrival of TS Conductor, which is bringing 462 new jobs, the largest job announcement in Jasper County's history. But that's only the start. We have in that entire district almost 17 million square feet of warehousing, logistics, and light manufacturing like TS Conductor that's already in progress. Ground's being cleared. It'll take 10, 15 years to do, but it's not unreasonable to assume that there will be 10,000 new jobs in that whole district in the next 10 to 15 years.
Just in that one space,
in the district that's covered by Riverport, what's known as Clarius, Salt, which is South Atlantic Logistics, and that whole corridor of 17, which will be accessed by the new Exit 3.
I was going to say, you're doing the segues for me here. This is great. One of the other things we always talk about, those 2 new exits, right? We've got Exit 8 that a lot of people are excited about. There's going to be a lot of industrial growth there. And also, you just mentioned Exit 3. So let's start with that one. What do you want people to know about that project, which I know is almost soon getting underway?
It's almost soon, and hopefully the widening project, which will start at the Georgia border, will begin summer or early fall.
Okay.
That will include the construction of Exit 3. And what's exciting about that is it brings a new level of commercial to the city of Hardeeville. One of the things that we're still lacking a little bit of all the growth, but as any exit, there will be a lot of commercial, hotel, restaurants, a gas station, and that brings a lot of revenue, not only sales tax revenue, and that's used to fix our roads because we did pass a sales tax referendum in November in Jasper County.
Which I know that you were looking forward to potentially people passing, and now has happened.
It has happened, and all those commercial interests will bring jobs. In addition to the industrial jobs that are happening with access to that road.
And when you have a city that's essentially built directly on an interstate, like 95, like Hardeeville is, and then that city blows up in population over decades, it's just a process of how you keep up with that. I know this is something that you guys work so hard at the town to do, year in, year out, day in, day out, really. So what are the conversations like as those projects progress, get closer to really starting to widen those roads, as to how you do it the right way?
Well, first of all, you start with the trouble areas, of course. But there's also more than just having a trouble area. Some roads will take literally a couple of years to engineer and design, get easements for whatever widening has to be done. So it's a process that takes a lot of time. So what we have to do is so important to be planning right now for what we need to do so that as these activities begin, we're ready with the roads and the infrastructure. Nothing happens overnight. So that planning is so key, and that's one of the challenges that we have going forward in the next 5 to 10 years.
You and I did work together on a story a few months back about the population shift that's really happened in the Low Country over the last, we can call it 4 or 5 decades, as it went, I should say, from the coast and has kind of moved toward Hardeeville. How have you seen that? I know you've been in this community a while at this point. How have you seen that shift as it does approach the area and has been in your city for years already now?
That will continue to evolve. We first grew with the arrival of retirees, and South Carolina is a very retiree-friendly community. So that was the first stage. But now with all these jobs coming, the new homes that we are entitling are more entry-level kind of homes, smaller, so that families buying for the first time will have the opportunity to move into the community, which is a little less expensive than Bluffton and Hilton Head.
Yeah.
So that gives us an advantage from that standpoint. But also, if you tie that into the 10,000 new jobs I just talked about, and you have the 20,000 new homes that we're going to be seeing in the next 10, 15 years, they kind of match up. So we want to get homes where the workforce that we're going to need to fill these jobs to come in and give them an affordable place to live in Hardeeville.
I know it's been a concern, as you mentioned, that this community really started to boom with those retirees, right? Places like Sun City and Margaritaville that bring in thousands of consumers, but not necessarily workers, laborers, right? So as you get these houses in to make people able to work where they live with the continued growth of Hardeeville, how big of a focus is that for you? I know you've been talking about it over the last few minutes here, but obviously you've been mayor for years and you've watched this continue to grow.
It's a very big focus because throughout the Low Country, the conversation is about available workforce. We have jobs coming, but we need essential workers, whether they be teachers, nurses, firemen, policemen. They're all those essential workers, and they're mostly younger. So we need homes that they'll be able to afford and live in as they start their careers. And one example of that is in the last couple of years, we've entitled 3,100 new apartment buildings, the units, from zero. So now you're adding entry level or apartments, and a lot of young people start that way.
Yeah.
And that inventory is building up so that, again, the whole key is to get affordable places for our workers, and particularly the essential workers and the younger people. So I envision in the next 10 years that average age of Hardeeville will continue to lower as we start to get families filling those jobs that the retirees obviously don't fill.
Bringing the workforce to Hardeeville, not just from outside of it into the city, but allowing them to live there as well. Mayor Williams, we really appreciate your time.
Great, thank you for having me.